Driftless Biker here from the future once again. I was out riding with Dre, and obviously we were connected, so no voice work there. As usual, when I'm connected to somebody, I don't talk to myself because that's really weird. And I don't like to be that insane when I'm with other people. Hopefully, y'all are doing good. Obviously, it is not the kind of weather or kind of colors that it was at the time that this video was shot now, because it's February and this was taken in September. So, yeah, I'm a little bit behind. What else is new? This is Minnesota 76 going north towards Houston from Caledonia. Great road. We call this section the sweeper section or the rhythm section because it's just fun twisties. Nothing tight, nothing fancy, just fun. Just a great little stretch of road. Gonna hit a couple of different surfaces today. Or actually, this is actually going to be multiple days of rides because I'm doing a little bit of cleanup and catch up, and none of the days were enough to stand on their own. But together they make a nice video, I think. Get a little bit of gravel in here, get some sunset video, that kind of fun stuff. Hopefully you enjoy it, and I'll be back later.
little after-work ride and figured I would roll a little bit of footage because it's a beautiful ride. I mean, you know, we got some people that love the gravel sections when I pull them in, so I thought I would get you a little taste. It'd be a nice little mixed surface ride for me, nothing too big. I've got like an hour, a little over an hour to go for a ride, and then I got to be home anyway, so just get in a little bit of fun. And it's 80 degrees at the end of September in the fall, and I had to get in the ride if I can. You know, the days are getting shorter for decent rides. I mean, I'm gonna ride, you know, I'm gonna ride all year, but well, that's the intent, barring any really severe weather this winter or extended severe weather, I mean, or whatever. You know, life happens sometimes, you get in the way, health issues or surgeries or whatever. It's good for the soul, good to recharge the battery on the bike, the psychological battery. The beauty of this kind of riding, you don't have to go fast. I'm going like 32 miles an hour. In fact, it's almost a little bit better when you're not going overly fast. 35 is kind of my butter zone on the gravel. It's where my bike handles the best, and generally speaking, I think most motorcycles on gravel handle the best around 35. I have a friend who lives on a gravel road, and when she was a relatively new rider, the first few times she was so nervous riding from her house out to the highway. Talking to her about it, I'm like, how fast are you going? I don't know, 20, 25. I'm like, try kicking up to about 35 and see what happens. Next time I talk to her, she's like, you wouldn't believe, because you know it already, but the difference is unbelievable. It's so much easier. So that's one piece of advice I'd give. Another is loose hands on the grips. I'm not holding on tight. In fact, I barely even have a hold of the bars. If the bike needs to float a little bit, let it float a little bit. Guide it. You've got to give it a little bit more grace on this gravel into sand, if you get into sand especially. But, it's not you can't white knuckle it. If you white knuckle it, you're going to exhaust yourself quickly. If you need to stand up a little bit, stand up a little bit. Oh, well, if I get into something that's bumpy, I'm going to stand up. But you don't need to stand up the whole time. And you get to see beauty like this. I mean, there's not a rush. How you doing there, little fella and little ladies? All right, little one. I gotta be home in about an hour to take my puppy dog for her ride, give her mental stimulation that she needs. But you know, I need my mental stimulation with this ride. So. And if you see the yellow or orange light on my dash, it's okay. That's my traction control is turned off light, which I did intentionally do because I was on gravel earlier and I just didn't bother turning it back on. Because I have to stop and put the bike in neutral to do that, and I don't like to stop very long normally. But it's not like a check engine light or something like that. That's the big thing.
All right, I'm going to kind of wind it down. And for the keen observers, you may notice that this isn't the Super Tenere that I'm riding. It's not the Pack Mule. This was the night before I had to load, or yeah, it was the night before I had to load the motorcycles for our trip south for our fall leaf ride. And Dre and I got out, and that's Dre. You can see in front of me there. And had to replace my wife's motorcycle tires right before we left on a trip. And she asked if I would scuff them in for her and get them ready for the trip. So this ride, I'm on my wife's V-Star 1300 from 2007. Great little motorcycle. Little for me. Fits her fantastic, perfectly. We've got it set up for her. My wife is shorter than me, much smaller than me, much less broad than me. So note I said it's set up for her, not for me. It's a great little bike though. It's for me it's a little compact, but that's okay. Like I said, it's not my bike, it's her bike. Got everything good and scuffed in, and for this section I wanted to let Dre have a little fun and take the lead because he'd followed on it, but he'd never led on this one. So I thought it was a great opportunity for him to take the lead. And like I said, I was still scuffing the tires in and didn't want to push too hard. Not that I wasn't pushing them, I just was not, going crazy. We were about 60 miles into the ride at this point. And yeah. Yeah, it's just a great ride and great opportunity. And this is kind of wrapping up my 3 days worth of riding that I've included in this video, just because, as I mentioned earlier, none of them really stood on their own. But all worth it to get a chance to get out and get something put down for y'all. So, I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for coming along for the rides instead of the ride today. And as always, like, follow, subscribe, share if you can, do whatever you feel you want to, can do. Appreciate y'all. This is Driftless Biker. Out for now. Later, y'all.